let them stay outside in the wild. Don't go buying them. It's illegal to buy them if they're less than 4 inches in shell length as it is. Just don't buy the water turtles, and they require a lot of care, So.
All right, so what does this big box contain?
What we have here, this is our alligator pit. For some reason, once again, people like to get alligators as pets. They think it'd be cool to have. They don't really think about the future and the fact that they're going to get absolutely huge. When they're babies, they're really small, they're cute. If they bite you, they're probably going to scratch you. That's about it. Knowing that they can get anywhere from like 8 to 15 feet long and they can weigh up to 1,000 pounds, that's not in their thoughts as they're getting this alligator. There's also the fact that a lot of pet stores will tell them that they only get as big as the container they keep them in, which is not true. They will continue to grow. Their bones may become deformed. You may underfeed them if you keep them in a smaller container, but they're going to continue to grow. And I've got some small ones in here. I've got a couple of big ones. I'll go ahead and I'll open up. I'll grab one for you. So.
Okay.
All right, this is an American alligator. We took this one in from a family outside of Cleveland who had it as a pet. They said they had it from the time it was a very small baby. We're guessing he's probably about 4.5 years old based on his size. They grow on average about a foot a year for the first 5 years. Now, this gator here, being the size that he is, he's actually strong enough if he were to get you, he could take a couple of fingers off. So you want to be careful. Anytime we take him out for programs, we do tape them up. So they don't bite anybody. But those teeth there, that's what's going to get you.
I don't like the way he's looking at me.
Yeah, nobody seems to like the way he looks at him, so it's all right. He just winked at you. You're good to go.
He did wink at me. He probably sees me as
a good meal. All right. Anyway, what I was going to say is these guys, like I said, they're going to get to be somewhere between 8 and 15 feet long. They can weigh up to 1,000 pounds. At this size, if they can take a couple of fingers, obviously full grown, they can go ahead and just take you and take you under and kill you. They don't get used to you. They don't know you. None of these animals really care about me. While they have personalities, like I said, there's no feelings there. There's no love here with this guy, and that's okay. This is one of those that is just not a good pet. You're welcome to touch him, and he's nice and rough on the back. You have scutes down the back, which keep his back nice and solid.
Oh, wow.
His stomach is very soft. That's why you never see an alligator on their back, because this is where they're most vulnerable. But he's nice and solid. But again, this is not something that makes a good pet. Right now, we're housing 7. I had a phone call for an 8th just the other day. So this is, again, an animal that comes in pretty frequently. What we then do with them as they get too large, we will take a trip down to Florida. We release him into a sanctuary down there. We can't put him in the wild. He is too used to human contact. So he goes to a sanctuary. He can still live his life outside and live in the swamps and the marshes, but it is in an enclosed area. What you got about him? What do you think?
I'm scared.
He'll be all right. Hopefully he won't get you. You're out of reach. I've got him.
Okay, so what do you have in your hand?
This here is a Chilean rosehair tarantula. She is native to South America. She's full grown, and the reason we can handle her is, although she does have venom, it's not enough that's going to kill you. There's no tarantula out there that's actually going to bite you and kill you. It's very similar to a bee sting. The venom is very, very similar. So, just like a bee, there are some people that are allergic to the venom. Luckily, I am not. So we can handle her, not a problem. The only other problem that people may have is with the hairs all over her body. There's a lot of people that are allergic to those. So typically when we take her out, it's more of a take a look at her and really kind of look at some of the details on her and the hair and the coloring, kind of see her eyes there. That's really it. We don't really let anybody kind of handle her or touch her just because of the possibility of breaking out into hives or a rash of some sort if they're allergic to the hairs. But she is full grown. She's roughly 5 or 6 years old right now. She eats things like crickets and mealworms and occasionally a baby mouse. I'm not worried about her biting me. They're known to be pretty docile. We do have another tarantula. We've got a couple of these guys at home. Well, we took one in just a couple days ago. And then we've got a larger tarantula that is very aggressive, so we don't handle that one whatsoever.
Now, do you recommend a tarantula as a pet?
Honestly, if you're going to get something like this, a rose hair is probably the way to go. If you want to handle it, you can. You certainly don't have to. They don't need a lot of room to live. They like to burrow and kind of dig, so you can either do that yourself with a small flower pot, or you can give it enough dirt that it can do that. But they are interesting to watch. They do spin their webs in their cages. You feed them a couple crickets every few days, and that's really it. The coolest thing about these guys is when they grow and they molt, they actually flip over on their back and they kind of slice themselves in their belly and they crawl out. And as they're doing that, when they're finally finished, you have the actual tarantula there, and then you have the molt, an actual complete exoskeleton shell of the tarantula. And it's really cool to see. It's very fragile, but it is definitely an interesting thing to watch.
Now, what species is a tarantula?
This is an arachnid. I mean, we don't necessarily get into the scientific names and everything else. We're strictly here to educate and say, hey, these are great animals. This is where they're from. We go more of the characteristics and the adaptations, and then, of course, the rescue. So,
is it okay to touch?
Yeah, if you want to touch her, you go right ahead. Touch right down her back.
Does she like it?
Probably not. If she didn't like it, she'd let you know. What she'll do to let you know that she's not happy with you, she'll actually rear back on her hind legs and put her front legs up in the air. That's basically telling you, hey, leave me alone or I'm going to get you. And, whenever we take an animal out to do presentations, if they don't feel like coming out, we don't bring them. This one here, we take her out. She actually stays in this container here. But if we go to actually handle her and she does that, we leave her in there. We're not going to mess with the animals for not only our safety, but obviously their safety as well. We don't want anything at all to be upset, to be agitated, irritated. We don't want anyone to get hurt. So, safety's a big issue with us. But she's okay.
Now, what's that part right there?
That's just the main part of her body, the very center. Her eyes are right there on the front there. Her fangs, of course, stick out of the front of that, and that's where she gets her name. She's got that rosy color, that kind of a pinkish, purplish color. That's where she gets her name from.
Brian, thanks again so much for joining us today. We had a lot of fun here at the Pet Expo. Learned a lot about reptiles. Cool Critters Outreach. Any last words?
Thank you for coming out and doing this segment today. If anyone has any questions, please visit the website at coolcrittersoutreach.com. They can contact me via email at brian@coolcrittersoutreach.com. They can call us or text us. 513-720-2442. They're looking to adopt an animal, if they need to drop an animal off, and more specifically, if they're looking to schedule a program. Like I said, we do the educational programs. We do birthday parties. We do Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, schools, daycares, nursing homes, you name it, we go. We have a great time. It's a very hands-on, interactive program that we've developed. So anyone's got any questions or would like to schedule a program, please contact us.
Thanks. And if you or someone you know is doing something unique or different in the Cincinnati community and would love to be featured as a story, please visit our website below. Thanks so much.